Good afternoon, everybody. It is June 11th. This is Bob Ichino along with Mike Arnold from Path Trading Partners. This is a weekend update Pat Chat covering the futures markets for the week ahead. Longer term picture stuff is what Mike's going to be covering on the charts, telling you where things went and where they're going to go. If you're interested in our view of the economic calendar for next week and a quick review of what happened last week, check out the first, say, 10 to 12 minutes of the FX Pat Chat, which is also up on our YouTube site. However, if you're just interested in the price action analysis of the futures charts, let me turn it over to Mike so he can give you just that. Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you, Bob. So here we have the VIX spike up on Friday with the FANG stock sell-offs, which we've talked about. Funny enough, before they started selling off, we were talking about them on our podcast, which was released on Saturday. They did sell off. If you'd like to see a video update of those, tune into the stock update for this weekend, and you will see a quick overview of the FANG stocks. But with that sell-off, VIX temporarily spiked above 12 briefly, but still closed back down in the 10 range at 1070, not even up in the 11 range. So you can see it's still in this very low mode, even with the sudden sell-off of the FANG stocks. Let's switch over to some financial futures. We have the Dow futures. The Dow futures not quite making a new high on Friday, but closing up substantially for the day. So on a continued rally going into next week, 21,270 in the futures is going to be first key resistance. If that is broken, 21,370 next level. And then we have a range of about 21,469 to 21,478 Gann cluster up here. If we do pull back, the 21,100 level is going to be the first key level. Get below that, we have about 21,072 to 21,061 next area of key support. Then we have the rising bottom of the rotation zone coming in at 21,034. If that is broken, we'll be watching for a target of the 37.5% Gann level, 20,972. Switching over to the S&P. S&P, you can see pretty volatile day in the S&P, coming up to make new highs, 2,443.50. Also tested the bottom of our rising rotation zone, coming in about 2,412, closing up slightly for the day, but still closing down from the prior day. So if we continue rallying back up, first level of resistance is going to be 2,431 right in this area, and the 12.5% Gann level. Then we'll be watching for 2,437 area, and then a retest of the highs, 2,443. If we do get above the highs, the next projected level up is 2,455. On a pullback, first we have a lot of support. This is a prior breakout zone and the bottom of the rising rotation zone. So we will be watching for first level support coming in about 2,414 to 2,412. If that is broken, 2,406 next key level, and then the return to this prior breakout zone coming in at 2,402. If all those are broken, you could watch for a possible retest of 2,394. Switching over to the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, you can see the big drop on Friday due to the FANG stock sell-offs, which we alluded to in the podcast. So first level support, if we continue lower, we're looking for 5,740 to 5,729 area first key level. Next key levels 5,695 to 5,683. Then we'd watch for a retest of Friday's lows coming in at 5,669. If that is broken, we could see it drop down to the 50-day and another Gann level coming in about 5,640 area to 5,627 area. That's right in here. Then if that is broken, really we'd be watching for a return to the full end of this clear path, which is about 5,576 area. On a rally back up, First key level did drop below the rotation zone, so key resistance coming in at 5,766 to 5,770 area. Then we could see a return to 5,818, which is another 25% gain level, and the hooking over 8. Then the next major level up we'll be watching for is 5,862. If we do get through all that, 5,886, and then a retest of the highs, 5,907.50. Switching over to crude oil. Crude oil inside day on Friday, closing slightly higher. Another two key lines in the sand. So we have to get above this 46.18 level. That's going to be first resistance. It was the equal highs on Thursday and Friday. If we get above that, we'll be watching for a rally to 46.85 to 47.07. We have 2 GAN levels and a declining 8 coming in here. So this is a target area and a declining trend line. That's going to be some substantial resistance. If we do get through there, 47.50 next area higher, and then the other end of the rotation zone, and the single candle, that the substantial drop coming in right around 48. If we head lower, but around the 45.20 to 45.30 area is going to be key support. If we do get below that, 45.12 to 45 is next key level. Then if we get below that, we'll be watching for a possible return to the 44 to 43.76 area. Over to copper. Copper, let me zoom in a bit on this. Copper getting above both our trend lines here, but it's not really into much of a clear path. So on a continued rally up, we'll be watching for the next target of 265.70 area. Then if we continue up there, we're looking for this prior significant resistance area, 266.72. Then a possible return to this defining point of the longer term trend line at 269.45. On a pullback, going to be watching for some major support coming in at 261.61. That's going to be first level major support. Then about 259.83. Then we have the crossing of the rotation zone. So next key level is going to be about 259.08. We'll call it, and then we could return and kiss this prior trend line goodbye. Over to gold. Gold, another drop down 3 days after just eking out new recent highs, straight down for 3 days. Caught itself on the bottom of the rotation zone and the 37.5% GAN level. So on a continued down move, there's going to be some support coming in up at this 1267 level. We have just below that 1265 significant level. If we get through that, we will be watching for first key level support 1261, and then major support 1257 to 1256.60. Rally back up and watch for a return to about the 1273.50 to 1274 area. Above that, 1277.50 to 1278, hooking over 8 and prior GAN level. And then if we do get through that, 1282.50. And finally, to wrap it up for this weekend, silver. Also, after hitting our first target on the trendline trade, these trend lines have now been updated. That trade is done, as we talked about on the podcast. We've also dropped 3 straight days, coming down to a prior key GAN level at 17.16 area. We have this rising trend line also coming in. So if we break below that trend line, we don't have a clear path. This is not even an advanced clear path, but we could see 1706 to 1703 is going to be very key support. If that's broken, 1698, and then a possible return to a significant level, 1688. On a rally back up, we have a flat 50 prior low coming in. 1729 will be our first target on a rally back up for resistance. Then we'll be looking for 1735.36 area to 1738. That's going to be hooking 8 prior GAN level, very key 150%. Then if we do eventually get through there, we'll be watching for a return to 1753. That's all we have for you. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks for that, Michael, and thank you guys for watching. If you like what we're doing, hit the like button, click subscribe so you can get alerts from YouTube as to when the Path Chats come out, and we will talk to you in the next Path Chat. Cheers, everyone.